Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roll20 Presents Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's a special time. This is where we live now. It's Monday. So instead of ending your week with dragon hoisting, you can now begin it. But if you're watching this on YouTube later or in the VODs or whatever, you're probably like, what the hell? Because none of the other schedule stuff has changed.
Time has not changed.
Yeah, time is the same for you. Yeah, it's going to come out on YouTube at the same ass time. But yeah, so there's been some 2019. We're doing the 2019 schedule shuffle. And the hoist has been moved from Friday to Monday. So now you can begin your week with me and these lovely nerds. Hello, lovely nerds. How is everybody?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you wanna, yeah.
It's good. Lauren seems offended by my having called her a nerd.
Dare you call me a nerd? No, it's... Never mind.
If the shoe fits, my friend, then this shoe fits very, very well.
Size 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I have two categories of people in my life: nerds and dorks, and everybody is in either category.
Yeah, some people multi-class.
Some people are in both.
Yeah, they got that covered. Well, good thing that it's not second edition time anymore where you could play a fighter mage thief cleric.
Oh man.
I mean, I guess technically you could, but it's just a terrible decision.
I would be a nerd dork elf.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yep. Content producer dweeb. Yep. Yeah. So how's everybody been? What have you been up to? I'm gonna start with you, Lauren, because I always start with Elf and go around the other way. What's going on? How are you doing? What have you been up to?
It's been good. I'm getting used to the fact that it's Monday. I spent all of Friday being like really anxious. I'm like, it's definitely not. It's not happening. I checked like Slack like 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah. I had that feeling too. I wasn't even in town. I was in Seattle on Friday, and I was like, oh, it's Friday, and I like looked at my watch. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get home. I gotta go. We got to do Dragon Heist. So it's confusing for us as well. Even though some of us live in a world where scheduling doesn't really it's not a real thing. Weekends don't count.
No. My week starts on Sundays. So
yeah,
it's very messed up, but no, it's been good. I'm getting ready to start my next cosplay project.
Oh, sick. What are you doing? Or is it a secret?
I'm going to have my community help me decide between Spider-Gwen from the new Spider-Verse movie or Adora She-Ra from the new She-Ra.
Sick.
Both. Yeah. I choose both.
I feel like a lot of people might say that, but I only have so much time because I also have only so much time.
Yeah. Yeah. The costume does not just conjure itself from nothing and then you just wear it and they're like, hey, look how cool I am.
But on the flip side, I'll probably still make the other one. I know how to.
Okay. All right. Here's my second.
What should I do first?
Here's my second thing. She-Ra has like a cape and a skirt. So
True.
Those are fun. Those are fun things.
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen is kind of just like a bodysuit, which like if you do that the second time, then maybe you can get some yoga in before you go into the bodysuit.
Are you suggesting?
No, I'm just saying like that would be my concerns personally about why I don't really wear bodysuits generally. Like yoga pants are pretty much it. Like
the trick is Spanx. It's all about
Spanx. There you go. Just Spanx from your neck down to your ankles. And then that is the body. You gotta get yourself in that spanky stuff. Like, can I have ones that like cover my head too? Just like down to my feet.
I mean, they make those that just completely obfuscate your identity as a thing.
Cool. But then you're Spider-Man.
You also underestimate like how much spandex is involved in She-Ra. Like She-Ra is less
really, but she's got like a cool
spandex. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, I guess you could just like go the Hot Topic route and make like a dress that is not spandex, but it probably wouldn't look as good. You know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. That's just my 2 cents is skirt and cape is cool and fun and you can twirl in it.
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen is also cool and fun, but like
I would also maybe find someone who has a horse and spray paint the horse and then
okay.
This is getting out of hand.
We're going pretty far here, but counterpoint, you have to make a sword for She-Ra.
I do
get to make a sword.
I was gonna say,
no, you have to make
and
one.
it's probably gonna have to light up.
Good.
But it won't be the first light up sword that I've made, so
okay, all right.
Well, and this one will be smaller. I made the transistor and it was like,
oh god, yeah.
That's not a sword. That's a surfboard with a handle.
It's a sword, boyfriend. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a giant USB key the size of a surfboard. Yeah. I wonder, and Dave, maybe you can answer this question for me. The sword from Transistor versus the sword from Berserk. Which one is bigger?
The sword from Berserk.
Is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How big is that sword? Like, because I think, isn't the transistor sword like also like 3 feet or 4 feet wide?
feel
And
the
like,
transistor sword is wider.
The transistor sword will look bigger by reference. Guts is actually over 7 feet
that's
tall.
true. That's
Oh,
very
good
true.
call. Yeah.
The Dragon Slayer, if I remember right, is 6'3" or 6'5" and weighs like 2.5 tons.
That's a very dense weapon. That's very
Yeah,
Yeah,
2.5 tons.
It's
like super magical destruction metal. I don't know.
and I'm sure somebody in chat will do it for me, but it's less like a sword and more like a solid chunk of that's the line.
It's like
Less like a sword, more like a truck.
Yeah, it's like a piece of wall or bank vault interior. Yeah.
The best part about it is it's not actually a magical sword. It becomes magical because you kill magical things with it. Which I think is the best way to get a magic sword.
Yeah, like, see, I've always liked evolving magic items. Like, I've always thought that we need more of those, like in D&D. Like the magic sword that kills things and takes on its powers are one. But like,
Totally.
I love the idea of magic items having like their own levels and like increasing their, like, as your character becomes more connected to them or as you unlock kind of their like backstory or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I always put them in one of GM games. People seem to really like those, but nobody like lives long enough. I don't know.
I think 5e has enough. It has a minute, like it's not like in like earlier editions of D&D where you would end up at level 10 and you have like 46 magic items. Like you can still play fairly like low number of items, and then if you give them more powers, like it's cool to have, instead of having 3 rings, having a ring that does 2 or 3 things. I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with and that's an interesting thing I ran into recently as well, with different 5e campaigns. Whether you're in like campaigns like yours where there'll be very sparse magic items but like powerful relative to their level, or ones where you come up against the fact that there is actually a rule in the game for the amount of items that you can attune to, which is 3.
Yeah, right. You can only have 3 at a time. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And I just like not come across it.
I always found it like challenging because you want to include, like, if the players come up against NPCs of a comparable level, they have magic items of their own, and then all of a sudden you're like, cool, we just fought and killed these guys, and now we all have twice as many magic items because of these nerds that we just murdered. I mean, really, you get down into what was that guy from Heroes, Sylar, where you're like, we just hunt other adventurers. We just wait outside the dungeon until they come out and we just jump them. It's a pretty good racket.
Ah, right. You wait until they have looted the
exactly.
dungeon, and then you don't have to loot the dungeon.
Yeah, Blue Jay, what was the name of that guy from Indiana Jones? We just recently rewatched Raiders of the Lost Ark. Was that French guy?
His name. He was just an asshole.
Yeah, the bad guy from Raiders, because he does that at the beginning, and he's just like, "Thanks for getting the idol for me, Dr. Jones."
Then he makes the like female main character wear that stupid dress.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, but then she beats him in the drink.
Travis.
Yeah, Belloc, yeah.
Magnus.
You gotta be careful though. You gotta pick your dungeons correctly, because what if they come out too powerful?
That's the trick, right? Like they go in, and the ones that survive come out all tough and cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be ready to jump them.
You're not getting XP except for killing them. So
I feel like I suddenly realized what Durnan's side hustle is. Like, hey, you want to come back up here? Put all your magic items in the bucket, fuckers.
You gotta do it like those panther snake thingers at the Shigambi temple where we were super weak and then they ambushed us.
Right. You have to be at least as smart as an animal, I guess. Is the plan there. Yep. Magic swords. And I think that we can all agree that a magic sword is better when it can also be your boyfriend. I think that's fine. You know, I want to have.
I feel like it's difficult to like snuggle with a magic sword.
Yeah. It works for some relationships, but not
Going back to Berserk, you can get that. That's a thing that they've made. They've made a Dragon Slayer body pillow.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's actually so good.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, Boyfriend Dungeon is coming out.
Someone buy me it. Find the Dragon Slayer body pillow and somehow where I live.
Don't actually do that. But if you find it, post it on the internet so Dave can buy it. Yeah. Wow. Good stuff. But I mean, I think that's a thing that's been going like.
So that's how my week was.
Yeah. Right now I'm just thinking about people having relationships with their magic items because that's a trope, right? That's a thing. The like intelligent or semi-intelligent magic item that you have like what's his name? The pasty edgelord. Elric.
Okay, so like anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say Elf as our resident expert on pasty edgelords. Have you read any of the like Elric stuff? You should.
No.
I feel like it's right down your alley. It's dark. There's a lot of brooding. He's just a shitty person.
I'm feeling slightly called out, but I'll take it. It's fun.
Yeah. It's like very much OG D&D stuff too. Like that's where alignment came from and everything, and Black Razor. But yeah. So anyway, Elf, what have you been up to?
I have been doing like sort of my regular jam.
Yeah. Doing that.
I've got a LARP game this weekend, so I need to like gather more of my stuff from the other place where all my things still are mostly.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I started playing a Dark Souls mod, which has been interesting. Because I've already played all those games a lot.
I feel
like the easiest way to continue, because I'm having this issue right now where there isn't a whole lot of stuff where I'm like, I want to play it. You know what I mean? Like I'm feeling motivationally video gamely sort of worn out. So I was like, I'll just get this Dark Souls mod and see if it's any good. And now
you're playing Dark Souls.
Doing that again. So that's good. It's fun. It's I don't really know what to make of it yet. Seems good. It's called Daughters of Ash.
Interesting.
And it's sort of like an overhaul, like
of the first game.
Well, the first game, Prepare to Die edition of the first game.
Interesting. I never even heard of that.
Well, it like moves around enemy placements, like adds in boss elements where there weren't any before, like moves around where important stuff is. Bonfire placement is different.
Oh my god!
Like,
all
that kind of stuff.
I would be hard pressed to think of a greater horrific nightmare because I get lost in regular Dark Souls and I've played it like 4 fucking times. To be like, it's the same game, but everything's all moved around. It would be like if I came home and someone had just systematically gone through my house and shuffled all my shit around. I'd just be like, cool, well, I guess I'll just lie down now forever and never do anything again.
Or leave immediately because you have like a creepy murderer in your house.
I mean, they're not there anymore. It's a hypothetical. Right?
I'm quite enjoying it, if only for that feeling of like, oh, this is a Dark Souls game I haven't played. You know,
right,
like,
sure.
Oh, okay, new stuff, new people.
I think I would probably have that experience with Bloodborne. I know Bloodborne well enough now that I don't really get super
totally.
lost.
Yeah.
The only problem with that, and the reason I've not played it myself when you watched you play it and stuff. First, you've got to play the Prepared to Die edition again, which is, oh god, and 4-directional rolling. Oh my god, people going back and saying Dark Souls 1's still the best one.
How many times I said in the stream that is not, it can never be true. Dark Souls, calling out Dark Souls 2 is better than Dark Souls 1, even when there's only the 2 of them.
Yep. Because you can roll in whatever fucking direction you want, not just off cliffs.
There you go. I'm just throwing that out there. Just gonna make everybody hate
Dark Souls. Wait, what do
Anyway, that's kind of how my
That's cool. I'm gonna tune in and check it out because I'm actually really curious. Like Dave, I don't know that I necessarily would want to play. Like I played through the version of it, but I haven't. I'd be interested to see what's different. That sounds cool. Thank you for doing
it tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you for playing that game so that I don't have to, but can still enjoy it.
I also did stuff like update my actual schedule and write things down, which is like the first time I've done that in like fucking 8 months. So my life is getting back in order.
Yeah, you got some new emotes going. Things are looking up in Elf Country.
Wow and Elf Concern. Those are the new ones. You should check them out and subscribe to me for them. I'm just saying.
Twitch is making that easier now. When you see someone's emotes in chat, being able to click through and like sub to them is going to be easier pretty soon, which is cool.
Yay!
Yeah.
Because that has happened to me so many times where I've seen a cool emote and I've been like, all right, I'm gonna hover, then I can see the code, but then I kind of have to ask, then I have to go to their channel, but you'll just be able to go like click, boom, done. I have this emote, and
it's working right now.
There you go.
Wow.
Cool. Well, speaking of old games, Blue Jay, you've been playing The Sims. How's your vampire family doing?
Well, so I've been playing a legacy playthrough, which means that you have to have 10 generations of the same family on the same lot.
Mm-hmm.
But The Sims 4, you can only have 8 people in one lot, like family controllable. So after a while, you kind of have to move people off, and vampires don't die typically.
Okay.
So I moved a bunch of our vampire kids into their aunt's vampire's house, and we're starting like a new generation, because in The Sims, vampirism passes like if you have a mom who's a human and a dad who's a vampire, they could be either or, like 50-50. It's really simple.
That's how you become the Daywalker, I think.
Yeah,
is the
except for no, not in The Sims.
Man.
So
can you play as Wesley Snipes? Can I just do one where it's just a whole family
You could make
of Blade?
Wesley Snipes and like make him into a Daywalker vampire, but he's got to be really powerful as a vampire, like a level 4 vampire, in order to like have the daywalking ability. And there's only 5 levels.
I've never met Wesley Snipes in real life, but I have to imagine he's at least level 4 in terms of overall human power, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been fun. And like we're starting the next generation.
No, like, person level.
Oh, okay.
Like just how accomplished and powerful as an individual you are.
There's
like
a vampire
Scientology levels. They have levels that you can use to get. Wesley Snipes is at least a level 4 Scientology level. He knows about the aliens, but he's never met one before. That's just, where he's at. Yeah.
Bluch, have you done... I heard about like a big resurgence in people playing The Sims because of tiny houses. Have you done one of those yet?
No. I've seen builds of those on YouTube and stuff, and I watch them, and it's super like crazy. People like use as many cheats as possible to fit shit in the smallest space. But The Sims, like, I don't know, it's interesting, but I couldn't imagine playing in that small of a space for a long amount of time, just because like you have to be like super like zoomed in on this tiny little place, and like, okay, I need to get the right angle to be able to see that my sim is doing anything because there's no room. Yeah, I just like make big houses.
Even watching them, I feel a little bit claustrophobic.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like seeing people build in The Sims, and like Adam can like comment that I'll walk down the street and be like, that house looks cool, I should build that in The Sims. Yeah. Just like in my daily life. But I don't have any interest in building tiny houses, but I don't have any interest in tiny houses in real life either.
Yeah.
Weird.
Listen, if I have a tiny house, where am I going to store my hundreds and hundreds of books?
Yeah, right. They're very important to me.
Yeah, I guess I could live on and around them. I guess we could make the walls out of RPG books, but
just make your house out of books. That wouldn't be good. The first rain.
No.
You'd be fucked.
You just have to laminate them all.
Every single page of every book.
I didn't say it was a good idea.
Yeah, I also this weekend saw Terminator 1 and RoboCop for the first time, which I didn't know that I hadn't seen.
Oh, wow.
Because I'd seen like bits and pieces, and I'd seen Terminator 2.
Yeah.
But I guess like Adam and I went to Cinerama, which is a really cool theater in Seattle that I really like because they've got chocolate popcorn and it's wonderful. And they were doing like a dystopia, destruction and despair, I don't know, some kind of thing. And so we watched, I think Jurassic Park is next weekend or this weekend too, which is rad. But yeah, so I didn't realize I had never seen them, and I saw them in the theaters, and it was great. And
it's an interesting experience watching. I'll say this: no intended offense to Paul Verhoeven, but if you watch RoboCop and you watch Terminator in the same weekend, RoboCop looks like shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, RoboCop is like, it's a fun movie, but do not watch it anywhere near a good movie. Like, just watch it on its own. Do not watch anything good before or after. Like, give yourself, it's like swimming and eating. Do not combine the two. Like, give yourself a full 24 hours between watching RoboCop and anything else, and you'll be like, damn, RoboCop was great. But if you watch RoboCop, then you watch the Terminator, you're gonna look back at RoboCop and be like, oh boy.
So speaking of stuff that looks like dated or not so good, I've been really enjoying watching some like Star Trek stuff recently. This feels dated to me because I didn't see it when it was relevant.
Yeah.
Because the action is so much like LARP action.
Yep. Okay.
It's like so relatable.
Nice.
It's like, oh yeah, point your gun in that direction.
Which Star Trek are you watching?
So
I'm watching DS9.
Oh, Deep Space Nine. Are you in the first 3 seasons?
No, I am in the 6th season. I am in the 6th season, and it is so good.
It's really good. Yeah. But definitely, like, the action scenes were not where Star Trek shines.
Well,
no, but that's what I love, because the like non-action scenes feel like LARP because it's like good, engaging stuff. And then the action scenes feel like LARP because it is very separate from the good, engaging stuff.
I'll say this: if you haven't seen it, there's a video floating around where somebody took a bunch of action sequences, like spaceship action sequences from I think TNG, and they ran them through an Adobe like an image stabilizer. And so they cut out all the camera wobbling, so it's just the people throwing themselves around, and it is just the best. It is just the best shit. Good. Yeah, it's the stabilized footage is so good. God bless you, the internet, for giving us that, because that's how they filmed those, right? They were like, we're gonna move the camera, and you're all gonna like fly off to one side or another, like together to make it like But
I did a space RPG where we practiced in our first like rehearsal of doing this, and then we realized that it didn't work on screen because people are facing different directions.
Yes. Yeah.
But basically what I'm saying is, if you want to know what LARP is like any LARP, look at Star Trek. The action is weird, but the other stuff is really good and engaging and characterful.
Yeah. Well, speaking of good and engaging and characterful, and then also some other things that I'm sure will happen, let's get back to our game. Let's play some Dungeons and Dragons. So,
I didn't really do anything interesting.
Dave, I asked you about your top favorite interest. I asked you about big swords in anime. So
That's true.
I gave you your opportunity. We talked. I know. Okay. Dave showed his expertise. So there's some shit going on vis-a-vis the heisting and the hoisting. So I did a little review for myself of what currently is going on. So it is the 11th of Flame Rule, which gives you more or less a day, give or take, right? 24 hours ish, more or less a day between now and when the Operation Adamantine Bar is undertaken, right? So there's a fake adamantine bar that is being prepared, and then there's a real one that apparently you are going to get your hands on because you're nice and friendly, not like the Castellanters. So that is happening, but the Castellanters are going to show up and they're going to get their fake adamantine bar, and then they're going to have everything that they need because they have their valet, right? Who is a shapeshifty guy. They have a fake dragon scale that they know is fake, but they're on the trail of a real one. Now you can track that fake one. They took it, even though they knew it was fake. And then they have a receipt for, but do not yet have the adamantine bar. You have so far promised your barkeep friend, who happens to be a doppelganger, a share of the imaginary money you do not yet have, which doesn't belong to you and belongs to the city of Waterdeep. You also have a real and legitimate dragon scale, bronze dragon scale, given to you by your friend Zendikar, or whatever the hell his name was.
Zendikar?
I can't remember his name. It was Zalafon.
Yeah, the one plane from Magic.
Yeah.
They gave us.
So you have your dragon scale from your friend Zelazny, and then you have the promise of a for reals adamantine bar from your neighbors. You've asked to borrow an adamantine bar, and they have agreed. So the other thing, this weird little thing that we ran into is that Jewel has like kind of another sort of maybe lead on a location, because you followed one of the employees of the Castellanters to the aforementioned valet. You followed them to the to this tower thing, this old like rundown place in town, where they met with a woman who was familiar but who you did not recognize on account of some failed roll. And I believe that's where we were.
No, she recognized the woman as the person I was meeting, just doesn't know who she is. I didn't
didn't have any more information than that.
Yeah, that's right. Because there was no additional.
And it wasn't the dock ward, it was the southern ward,
that's right? Yeah, you got it. Yep. Yeah. So I think probably when we pick up, everyone has been returned home. Rin, you and 8 are reunited at home after you're worrying over him.
That's good.
But 8, your memory of the past several days is somewhat hazy. You remember, if this were like the first X-Men movie, you would be getting like a bunch of those kind of like weird sepia flashbacks to the Weapon X program, right? Where you remember science equipment and like magic stuff
and the pain.
Yeah, like a Jacob's ladder and like people with Canadian accents. But you were told not to worry, that's simply a byproduct of the tests that they ran. You'll feel better in no time. So I think let's just give it a flat 24 hours. It's the morning of the 11th of Flame Rule. And then Kiefer Sutherland reminds everybody that 24 hours remain. The timer is ticking. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, so they're counting it down. So I think we fade in on everybody in the communal room of your inn, which I learned the alley is not named after the inn. The inn is the bar. The bar is named after the alley, and the alley is called Troll Skull Alley because orphan kids used to play with troll skulls. They used to bowl. It's like a bowling alley.
Thanks. Kick this troll skull.
Thanks, Ed Greenwood. Yeah, somebody tweeted at me. It's a thing. So there you go.
Dead trolls for children.
I get just laying around. Yeah.
Like, to bowl? I
don't know. I just listen. I don't
feel like they would be a good shape for that.
Listen, I didn't write the lore.
But they do have the handholds for the bowling.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
they got skulls of like this and this.
And children are like this.
You know what? I'm just gonna look it up. I'm just gonna look it up and we're gonna figure it out. Because yeah, there's apparently a whole thing. Here we go. Let's see. So most Waterdavians today, quote unquote, will know that the North Ward Alley has always been called Troll Skull Alley and may guess it's named for Troll Skull Manor when the truth is the other way around. Even the palace clerks can't help because it's called that on their oldest surviving deeds and city plans, meaning it was already called that. If we can trust Elminster, okay, Ed, sure, you know Elminster, he's a real person, whatever. In 1298 DR, during the bloody collapse of the Shadow Thieves Guild, some of its desperate members sought to cover their escape from the city by working with evil wizards to teleport and release various monsters.
I'm sorry, Adam, did you say Shadow Thieves Guild?
Yes, that's what it's called.
Did you know that no one crosses the Shadow Thieves and lives?
I had heard that, actually. It's good to have it confirmed. So apparently they got a bunch of wizards, they summoned a bunch of monsters, and one mage summoned a foraging band of trolls from the Evermore to the North Ward, and they stalked this alley, then known as Lormandir's Skulk, thanks to an unsavory blah, 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 blah. The trolls killed some citizens, and then they were killed by flaming spheres, hurled at them by the wizard Tazara Luriel of Termish. She was racing around the city dealing with many monsters and lacked the time to clean up, so local youths ended up playing with the scorched troll bones, bowling with the skulls for some years ere they all disintegrated under the rigors of such handling. By then, the rest of the city had dubbed this way Troll Skull Alley, and the name stuck.
Great.
And there we have it, Troll Skull Alley.
I like to imagine we like zoom out and Rin was reading this out of some book to the rest of the group.
So that's what Elminster says to me. He says, "Did you know?" Yeah, perfect. We get the pan out. Local history. It's a little pamphlet about Troll Skull Alley.
Troll Skull Alley and you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lonely Planet Guide to Waterdeep. It's right there. Troll Skull Alley. Must visit. So this is where we find ourselves, having been rejoined. What do you do?
And you're sure you're all right? I say to 8, who has been exhibiting strange symptoms. presumably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How is that? They've been like not able to remember things, but how have you been exhibiting that externally, 8? Like what can other people tell? Are you behaving strangely?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I sometimes forget where I am.
Okay.
Like momentarily, like I'll go to stand up and there'll just be like this room, okay. And then I open the door and I'm like, where does this go to, sort of deal. Yeah. Trying to find a way out of downstairs to get upstairs, forgetting you have to like leave and go back up and round. I'm like looking for the staircase up for a bit.
That's so confusion. Yeah. Like some of that. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, Rin, you sort of like call that out. You say to 8, like, hey, are you okay?
Considering how horrible they were at building that dragon scale, they're probably damaged in some permanent fashion. We should shut them off forever.
Are you suggesting we turn 8 off? Because they're bad at making dragon scales, not 8. The Hand of God.
I'm just mad at the Hand of whatever.
Really?
And that's totally fair. I'm mad.
And 8 tried to upend the bathtub yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
While I was in it.
Is there a way to switch me up? I don't think so.
No, but it's not exactly the first time Macaria has lobbied for killing or dying or the eventual termination of life and so forth. So it's really not very surprising.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. So putting all of that aside,
now I just really want 8 to demand somebody's clothes, boots, and motorcycle. Put on some sunglasses. Yeah, perfect.
Let's just throw them into the fire.
Good stuff.
Get shiny, nice.
I was looking forward to weapons. I have no weapons, save for the ones I already had. Disappointing.
No, but unfortunately, we don't really have time to negotiate any further, nor do I really think they're going to be very helpful.
2 days until we need to pick up the...
I did go looking for you, by the way. I didn't just... When you didn't show up, everywhere.
She was very worried.
Well,
just so you know, I didn't just...
I mean, I was slightly less worried, and Macaria didn't exhibit.
I wasn't worried at all in any fashion.
Well, there was no reason to be. However, I do appreciate this. I've said that before. Was it to you? Who else would it have been to?
I think when we were walking to the temple, you said that. We were talking about your concern with this whole thing.
Which temple?
The Temple of Gond.
Gond.
This was...
Yes, the making temple.
Yes. Are you sure you're all right? Just
obviously
that we're going to
not.
Need you, we're going to need you to focus on now. For now, we can dig into this a little later.
Less thinking, more fighting. Just point the...
Right. Right. Got it. I'll direct you then.
So we can sit around and wait for them to pick up the adamantine bar. We can see if they actually did anything with the scale, even though they thought it was fake, or we can go back to that weird tower.
One of you has the...
What weird tower?
The one I told you about in the Southern Ward, where I met that person who was Xanthar's xanthium gum.
Now we don't know if she's a member of the Zentarum or just like an ally of theirs, because the interaction you had with her was to deliver something from a schemo weird bottle on the behalf of the Zentarum. Yeah, and that's all you know, Macaria.
That lady, I saw her in the dock ward, Southern Ward. by a tower. Maybe she knows something about a location. It's getting paid by the Castellanters.
And let us beat it out of her.
That's a great idea.
An option. I was thinking of sneaking in first.
I think we should do that one. 8, you're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with you. We should go.
I was thinking we first scout the area in case maybe there's too many of them for us to deal with.
Fine.
Too many for 8? Certainly not. I'm sure the Temple of Gond has made sure they're in fine working order.
I have never been defeated in battle.
That is objectively untrue. We definitely got captured more than once.
He does have memory problems.
Well,
you remember that one time we were in a jail and we failed horrifically?
no, I don't.
Well, you
I
probably
allowed
drank too
you
much
to
since
take-
then. 8?
Yes.
Right. So you've been defeated in battle. I hate to break the news to you.
I didn't start a battle.
I see your logic. If I don't consider it a battle, then I've never been defeated. Excellent.
Technically, that was a skirmish. I've been
turned
defeated
up
in
at the
4As.
grate,
Okay.
and I gave them my weapons. There was no battle.
Okay, I like that we have a few options. What I can tell you that I have done is made sure that if we can't follow the carriage, we will have a spy report back to us where it went. My raven friend upstairs, we had a talk.
A bird.
Or do you mean you had a squawk? That's what it sounded like anyway.
Either way, it amounts to the same, doesn't it?
You have fallen so far, Rin, that now your best allies are birds.
My best allies were birds for years.
I still think that we should go beat up that woman in the tower. I think that's a great idea. We've tried the dragon scale thing. It didn't work. Give up on that.
But then if they know it's fake, won't they still be trying to find a real one? Could you not go
Sure,
and
but
find who's a real one?
we have the adamantine bar. That's a lost cause. We should just stick with what we've got and go beat up this woman.
We could still... I mean, we know they'll probably be looking for a real one, but I don't know how to get them a second fake.
But we can track the fake that we already put out there.
True.
One of you, I gave one of you the nipple right detector.
I have a suggestion. Hear me out. Hear me out. Why don't we give up on this whole rigmarole and give the Castellanters what they want in exchange for our lives?
They could try and take mine. They will
Who like
fail.
looks at Makari and is like, you don't want us to all die. Who are you and what have you done with Makari?
What I want is immaterial. What will happen is, well, you will all die.
I have other plans than dying.
I
Generally.
like the plan where we did follow them, and you can scout the area, and then we will fight this woman, and perhaps the Castellanters will take longer because they do not have a thing. But
Well,
will have the
we
thing.
still have a whole day. So if we're going to do something, today is the day to do it.
Today's the day.
So
Wait.
let's double check where they took the dragon scale. At the very least,
8. I was wondering if anyone was going to notice that. So 8 seems to think that there's a full 2 days before you, and maybe I don't know if anyone noticed it the first time, but they repeated themselves here, and they were like 2 days.
Yes. No, there's only one day left.
today.
24 hours from now is when we're going to have that adamantine bar finished.
There aren't actually 24 hours in a day in this.
So not in
Get out of here, Ed
Sorry,
Greenwood!
wait,
Get the fuck out of here!
You did this move. I'm going to do this move.
Well, actually.
I don't care.
So How about...
So you're suggesting that we go about the city with this dumb thingamabob again?
I think we should just double check if they took it back to their estate or not. Because I suppose if they took it back to their estate, then they might eventually take it from there. If they didn't, then we have a whole big city to look through. And I say we go find out if that woman knows anything about the location.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I came up with the plan. Oh no. Jewel looks very concerned.
Right. Jewel finishes explaining this plan and looks pointedly at Rin like, so how have I fucked this plan up? And then Rin is like, cool, good, let's do it. And then Jewel suddenly, nope.
Right. Okay.
I mean, my version of the plan, she says afterward, as if there's going to be another plan. And my version of the plan would be that they're going to come for the adamantine bar, and then they're presumably going to have everything, because we have to assume that they will have found a way to get a bronze dragon scale if they think the one that they have is fake. I wouldn't put it past them to hurt a bronze dragon to get one, or buy one from a very expensive vendor somewhere else. So I wouldn't worry too much about where they're getting a real one. Once they have the adamantine bar, I can pretty much assume that that's going to be the last piece, and then they're going to take it and go to wherever the treasure is. So if we follow the adamantine bar, the fake adamantine bar, and we bring our real adamantine bar, then we can get there. And while they're having trouble opening whatever door or however it is that they're trying to do because they don't have the real items, we can come up behind them and go, aha! And then
stab them.
I'm sorry. The only part I heard about that whole thing was aha.
No, that's definitely still the original plan, and I think that's a good one. Do we want to do anything today then?
I mean, if you want to check up on this woman or the scale, that's probably a good
If
plan.
we can confirm the location of the vault, remember that part where the city guard are watching us, we might want reinforcements when we take on the Castellanters. If we know it's the vault, then they're more likely to come. I
know I've offered this before and you've all rejected me, but we could ask Merkel. What?
I mean, the last time we asked Merkel, it didn't go so great in the alley.
What are you talking about? It was fine.
You go ahead and ask Merkel if you think that will help us. I certainly am all about seeing what kind of response you get from a god that doesn't exist anymore. But
that's sacrilege, Rin. Surely you're above that.
I've had some conversations recently that have driven me to believe that there are worse people than the Castellanters that could be in control of a vast amount of money.
Yes, like us.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but also, I'm pretty sure the Bone Throne is not exactly occupado these days, but that's fine.
It's fine. I'm going to find the crown of horns and everything will be fine.
So, what is the plan? Are you going to, it sounds to me like you have two options ahead of you, right? There is either follow the trail of the bronze scale, the fake bronze scale, which Jewel suggests may simply lead you back to the Castellanter estate, knowing that they've taken it with them, or to attempt to go and scoop them on whatever is going on with this mysterious black-clad woman at this old tower.
Yes, we should ask about that.
Well, we have time to do that before the bar is ready. Like on an out-of-game level, we can do both of these things.
Yeah, depending on how long you take to do any given thing and how many long rests you need to take in between.
And we have contingencies for if somebody else needs to follow the thing. I set it up. It's fine.
The only problem with going to see the woman is if we do fight her, then they'll probably be tipped off that we were looking around things. So as much as 8 wants to fight her, we probably shouldn't actually do that right now.
We don't even know if we're going to find her anywhere near the place she was last seen. People move around.
True.
Okay. Right, would you like to go follow Jewel to the strange old tower?
I don't know. What does God say we should do?
Oh, you want to commune with your deity first?
Yeah, that's what Rin just said to do. I'm totally gonna do it.
All right.
The augury. We're gonna roll some bones and ask in the next 30 minutes if we pursue this strange black-clad woman and her tower, wheel, woe, both, neither?
Neither, I think.
Yeah, he's like,
it depends on how you handle yourselves, right? Like the bones fall in an arrangement that seems to indicate to you, like, deal with it yourself. Like I can't tell you everything here, sweetheart. It's about uncertainty, but uncertainty with the sense that you could change things to go one way or another. You're asking about something that could move in some direction or another. Also, it's going to take like 45 minutes to get there. So like you're not going to get jumped on the way, I guess, or
okay, I guess like
you get jumped on the way.
Macaria does this whole casting of stones and is like, very serious. And like, then she like looks down and there's like this whole like amount of time where y'all are probably like not paying attention to her at all. And then she like looks up and like brushes the dirt from the floor off of her hands. And it's just like, Merkel has supplied that everything I say is right and we should do whatever I say and not ever listen to anyone else. That's.
Can I make a religion check over her shoulder?
Yes, please do.
So I saw what it looks like the last time it was a positive result.
Yeah.
Does it look like that?
No.
Okay. Jill doesn't know if it's bad, but she definitely knows it's not good. And she's just like,
11?
Exactly.
I mean, you know Macaria. She's
I think this is you can't tell the details of the ritual necessarily. You can't pick them apart. But yeah, you know Macaria is full of shit.
What happens is I look over her shoulder. I have no idea if the ritual is correct or not. But from what Macaria said as she was standing up, I just look her in the eyes and go, bullshit. Like,
fair.
Like as if I gleaned it from the bones, but there's no way that I did.
Whatever. It says nothing.
Right. Cool. Well, then I suppose we go about our business.
Well, you would have done that anyway.
Okay.
Probably.
All right. So crossfade to a bright summer day out in the southern ward. Now this part of this ward is like not in great shape. It's sort of undergoing some reclamation. There are lots of these kind of like old buildings that either have fallen into disrepair or no, it's not like a dangerous neighborhood exactly. Like you don't have like, you know, monsters. It's not ruins or anything, but it's just kind of like it's run down and various places are either being bought up or are just like kind of sitting and waiting to be done so, to have somebody move in and fix them. The tower, the old tower to which Jewel leads you, appears to be one of such properties. It is it's hard to say what its original purpose was. It looks to be a 2-story sort of squat stone tower. And let me see, is it 2? Yeah, it's 2. And it has like a thatched roof and a chimney. The chimney is currently sitting quiet. There's a little vestibule like entryway on one side, and the thatching looks like it has some pretty significant holes in it. And yeah, there is there's like a hitching post outside with a couple of horses hitched to it. As well, there is a carriage that is sitting next to it. Kind of
a familiar carriage.
Not the Castellanter's carriage. No.
Okay.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this is odd in and of itself, based on your description of the level of wealth in the surrounding area, right?
This part of the neighborhood is kind of downtrodden. Like the place itself isn't unusual based on its neighbors. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a high class.
Adam, I'm gonna cast detect magic.
Okay. All right.
Me too.
So
are there any windows on the tower?
Yeah, totally.
Jewel, while detect magic is being cast, will do her own detect magic, which is called sneaky, looky.
That's a complicated name. Yeah, on the second floor, which is the only reason you can tell there is one. There's a set of 6 windows that run around the outside, and they don't have. If they ever had shutters, they do not anymore.
Okay. So yeah, that's sneaky, climby, looky.
Okay. All right. So detect magic within 30 feet of you. There is no magic, no unexpected magic within 30 feet of you, Ren.
Okay. Can I get like closer to the like where Jewel is?
It depends. Now Jewel looks like she is ready to crouch down and skulk off towards the place.
I am also capable of stealth.
Yeah. So do the two of you want to sneak up?
In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll just cast invisibility on myself.
Boom. Do
Great.
it.
Dust.
Okay.
Gone.
Cool. Rin becomes invisible. You still have to make a stealth check though for noise.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But you have advantage.
Rin becomes invisible and then trips and falls flat on her face.
You listen.
Makes a
It
very
happens.
loud noise.
Okay. So Jules got a 19.
13.
13. Okay. All right.
You can't see the hem of your robe, then it's like
Jesus, yeah.
you don't tread on it.
So so you approach, and as you do so, there is like I said, there's a circular section of tower with a little outbuilding, like a vestibule entryway. That is the door is closed. There is a door on it. It seems to be the only entrance and exit from the tower, and that door is shut. And then there doesn't seem to be anyone around. You think you're alone now. Would you like to climb the tower, Jewel, to get to the window? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's a janky old tower. I don't think there's any real reason for you to try to like roll for it. Like it's. I mean, I guess we could do the whole wacky hijinks thing where you try to roll and then the brick falls and you fall down and make a bunch of noise, but that just seems like boring horseshit to me.
I do also have a climbing speed.
Yeah,
so.
you're not like this is if it was anybody but you, fictional positioning would require that I roll, but no, you're fine. So yeah, you just pop your claws and climb up there. So you get up to the top of the edge of the window and you peer in, and inside you see a central stone column. On the floor, there is a fan-shaped set of stairs that leads up from below. In this room, there is a chimney on the west wall, and it's like a flue that leads like down below and then up above to the opening. The room itself is circular. It's lit both by sunlight coming in through the windows, and then also around the central column there are torches in sconces that are like burning. Though the burning torches do not appear to give off smoke. They are simply burning with a sort of clear orange-red light.
Redstone torches.
And there is nobody in, as far as I can tell. There's nobody in here. Though, if you got in and dug around, you get a better chance of looking at the place. But it looks like it's in pretty bad shape. There's like a puddle of water on the wooden floor, and it's one of those like second floors where there's stone like beams supporting a wooden slat floor on top of the second floor, and some of the wooden slats are like rotted through.
Precarious.
But yeah, like they're pretty thick. Like it was a floor, and there's like so yeah.
I think Jewel like looks around, realizes that she doesn't see Rin, sees the other two, and tries to get a little bit of their attention, and then just points. And I think she's probably gonna go inside.
Okay. Yeah. The windows are only a foot wide and like 4 feet tall, but you can squeeze in. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's gonna try and like.
Okay. Yeah. So Jewel slips inside. You have to be careful. We see your little paw like come down on the floor. The floor is littered with broken glass, burnt bits of paper, twisted pieces of metal, and bird droppings like all over the place. There are some pigeons like up in the rafters that notice you but don't seem bothered by your presence. There is there's some other stuff you can start looking around a little bit more. But we fade over to Rin. So Rin, you approach the building stealthily. The outer door of the vestibule is shut, and it's one of those doors that has the sliding like eyeball like slit in it. So yeah, you can't see into it.
Does it open like if I push it or pull it gently?
Yeah, I think if you give it a little push, there's a slight rattling, and it seems barred from the other side. But when you do, the thing slides open, and you see a pair of brown eyes set in a weathered face, like peer outside, and then he says, "Must have been the wind," and shuts it, and then turns around and goes inside.
Okay. Is there another way in on the bottom floor? Like if I
Funny thing is, he would have said the same thing if you shot him in the neck.
Oh, he's Skyrim NPC.
Thunk. Must have been the wind. So no, there's no other way in except for the windows that you can see by walking the perimeter of the tower.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to follow Jewel then, aren't I? Climb up the freaking building.
I mean, you could certainly try.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang around invisibly at the front door, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so just like
if I try and climb and I fall, then I'm gonna ruin everything.
Yes, you would definitely have to, like, looking up at it, you're like, that's like a 25-foot climb.
So are we close enough to see the door like open and shut and know that there's someone inside the little thing?
Yeah. I think that's reasonable. Sure.
So I look to 8 and I'm like, well, there you are. There's someone inside to murder viciously. Don't you want to?
Yes.
Well, then let's go. There's no voice of reason here. I won't tell anyone. Wouldn't it make you feel better?
Well, yes.
Then why not?
Murder is illegal in Waterdeep. I found
only if they catch you, 8.
When Macaria comes back, we'll murder them.
When who?
Rin.
When Rin comes back. Well, you know, Jewel? 8. Don't you remember? They went after the dragon scale. It's only you and me here. They won't be coming back.
Right.
Yes.
Dragon scale.
Exactly. So we should go in and finish this and then we can report back.
Yes.
Yes.
So you draw your sword and start walking towards the tower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
perfect. That's a great time to take a break. So let's grab a break there, and when we get back, we will see what happens. Never leave your confused friends alone with Macaria. That's the lesson. That's the lesson to learn here. We will be right back with lots more Roll20 Presents Waterdeep Dragon Heist right after this.